likes this guy named Patrick. He's kind of pathetic, so tragic. Makes the most with the little that he has. Chasing aliens and UFOs. He lost his marbles, everyone knows. Makes the most with the little that he has. Like a paper bag, he won't last. Some say he's sensational, others say he's delusional, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's not the sharpest tool, others say he's just a tool, but most agree he fucking sucks. He goddamn for sure fucking sucks. No one likes this guy named Patrick. Super pathetic, dramatic, kinda believes in magic. Magic makes the most with the little that he has. Chasing aliens and UFOs. What's next? The moon is a hole. Well, I kinda believe in that one myself. Anyway, back to the song. Makes the most with the little that he has. Like a paper bag, he won't last, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's sensational, others say he's delusional, but most agree he fucking sucks. Some say he's not the sharpest tool, others say he's just a tool, but most agree he fucking sucks. He goddamn for sure fucking sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a bombshell for you. Patrick sucks and that it sucks. I got a
What up, bettas? All right, doing a little live stream here today. Let's see. Let's fix this light. I don't know. Is that too much? Like that's a lot. I don't know. Here, I'm messing with this light. Don't normally do live streams from here. But welcome everyone, because Stephen Greer is I was gonna make a video, and I thought, you know what, let's just live stream this. It's been a minute. Let's get out there and just talk about this together, because Stephen Greer is out there making bonkers claims again. honestly, you know, I don't believe really a word that Stephen Greer says, but man, is he entertaining, because he just believes his stuff so much that it just comes off so crazy. And, you know, I could be wrong, right? I mean, who knows at the end of the day, but, you know, he said a couple things that I thought, yeah, I can't ignore this. We got to talk about it a little bit here. So that's basically what we're going to do. We're going to go over, look at this. I gotta fix the hair, y'all. Okay. So my wife's proud of me on camera. Yeah, we're going to go over a couple clips of Stephen Greer. He recently went on the Alex Jones show, and like I said, dropped some bonkers claims, and yeah, then we'll talk about it. Okay. So what I do like to let's see here. How is the audio, guys? Audio okay? Last time I did a live stream, I realized I didn't even have my mic like selected, and I was using it the whole time. It was coming through my MacBook. So I want to make sure this thing is working. Okay. And real quick, before we jump into these clips, you know, I'm bringing back an old tradition from my old live streams back in the day. So I want everyone to shout out in the chat where you're watching from. And I'm going to shout it out here on the stream. Okay, so tell me where you're watching the show from. Let's show everyone how international, how global Vetted is, and how you're amongst your global cosmonauts. We got Vancouver, Canada. Beautiful. Albany, New York. Oh, I love Albany. Silicon Valley, Poland, Phoenix, Montreal. We got Texas. There we go. Oh, shit, it's coming in fast, y'all. Tallahassee, Los Angeles, Sweden, Indiana, Maryland, New Zealand, Vienna, New Zealand. Oh, good Lord. United Kingdom, North Korea, Melbourne, Scotland. Love it. Moldova, Australia, Amsterdam, Toronto, another Canada. Love that. Denmark. Oh, good Lord. Toronto, Houston, Nova Scotia, NYC, Wales, Boston, Portland, Albuquerque, Liverpool, Romania, Chicago, Michigan, West London, my living room, Ottawa, Kentucky, Transylvania, Romania. I have a friend from Romania. Barrow, England, Missouri, New York, Pennsylvania. Oh, good Lord. Alabama, Maud, Texas. Oh, I don't know if I've even heard of that. Netherlands, Mars, from Dallas, where I'm from. San Francisco, Providence, Rhode Island, Maine, Miami, Falkland Islands, Colorado. Listen, y'all, what is this? This is crazy. I love it. Love seeing everyone from all over the world, man. Napa, Mars, love it. Philly, lived in Philly for a few years. And Lancaster, that's right. Norway, Houston, Dallas, love it, y'all. Thank you, everyone, tuning in. Let's jump into this, right? Why are we wasting any more time? Let's get to Stephen Greer's some of his bonkers claims here. Now, again, I've got two different clips to show. Okay, so we're just going to take one at a time. And this one that I'm about to play, oh man, this one had me rolling. I have to admit, this one had me rolling, y'all. So let's take a look. I'm going to watch it with y'all. All right. Hang on. I got to lower this a little bit so you can see my face. Okay. Just get ready. I'm just saying, prepare yourself, sit down, take a swig of your drink so you can spit it out when you hear what he says. Here we go.
If the aliens wanted to kill us, they would just think it would be done.
Oh, we're done. Yeah, I mean, imagine interstellar level and quantum entanglement level technologies weaponized. It would be a nanosecond. So they're very peaceful and they're very concerned
They're like
about our
bird
situation.
watchers. They're looking at us in binoculars and think we're pretty. Right? I mean, they're like.
Well, I think it's more than that. No, I think there is a compelling long-term interest in how the Earth as a beautiful part of the creation and humans.
Yeah, what was that
evolved.
movie came out like 10 years ago where the psychic aliens that look like giant squid come because in our evolution we helped them later? It was kind of like that.
Right. Yeah, and
Arrival.
Some of the ones that have been seen are actually our descendants from 500,000 years in the future that have come back to warn us about what we're doing. I mean, this sounds like the
No, it makes perfect sense.
Zone.
Slow down and explain that.
Well, for example, at Rendlesham Forest, Bentwaters Air Force Base in the early 1980s, there was a landing of a pyramid-shaped black onyx craft, and we have multiple whistleblowers for that. What people don't know is that the senior U.S. military Air Force people who were there
Here we go.
had an encounter with very tall, luminous white beings that floated through the shell of the craft, communicated with them and said, "We are your descendants from 500,000 years in the future, where humans had become interstellar and evolved into these incredibly amazing spiritual beings, but we're also going out throughout the cosmos." And that they said, if you continue on the path you're on of nuclear war and global destruction and endless war, we, your descendants, will not exist.
So let's stop right there. That makes perfect sense now. Understanding quantum mechanics has all been proven, not just theoretical.
Right.
That's Alex Jones. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. What you just said, Greer, makes perfect sense, right? Can we hear that again? The clip's basically over. I got to hear that again, y'all. Let me just make sure I heard that. I heard that right from Stephen Greer.
No, it's that the senior U.S. military Air Force people who were there had an encounter with very tall, luminous white beings that floated through the shell of the craft, communicated with them and said, we are your descendants from 500,000 years in the future, where humans had become interstellar and evolved into these incredibly amazing spiritual beings, but we're also going out throughout the cosmos. And that they said, if you continue on the path you're on of nuclear war and global destruction and endless war, we, your descendants, will not exist.
So let's stop right there.
You know, I need a BS cam that I can turn to. Just not say a word. I just give a face. Just, first of all, that sounds great on its face, right? That sounds out of a movie. But he just contradicted himself right there at the end. Right? He said, he said, these beings, white luminous beings, floated through the craft, right? So they have that capability of just, matter walls, like X-Men style, floated through the craft, talked to this person and said, if you continue on the same path of nuclear war and endless war, we will not exist. That doesn't make any sense. They clearly exist. So whatever path humanity took was fine. Right? And they evolved into these amazing beings. Why would you change that? Right? Why would you change that? That doesn't make any sense. Hey, we evolved into these amazing beings, but we're here to let you know from 500,000 years in the future that you should change. What? That literally makes no sense at all. Am I alone here? Because that just, let me mute my phone here. I don't want to, me super popular, getting messages all the time. Just kidding. It was a calendar alert. Yeah, that makes no sense. Again, he just contradicted himself, right? That's clearly humanity evolved just fine, right? To those amazing beings. Why would you go back and change it? And, it just doesn't, like, if you go back in time to change the past, does it even change the future you're in, right? And just that conversation alone could have a change. I don't know. Maybe they feel like, oh no, that's part of the change. But then why would you time travel back? Because the original timeline wouldn't have had time travel in it, right? So if the idea is, well, no, they have to travel back in time, tell humanity that, so that they do change and then they do evolve into these beings. But again, I would say the original timeline wouldn't have time travel in it, right? That's why time travel just breaks my brain when I try to think about it. Just doesn't make any sense. But that is just absolutely just bonkers, right? And these are the kind of stories, y'all. Don't worry. We got another clip from Greer here on Alex Jones, which is even crazier. This is the kind of stuff that just, what do we do with this story? We're saying U.S. government officials had this interaction that no one's ever heard about before till right now, right? I mean, how many events or experiences or interactions have people claimed in the UFO community have happened just in the American government? We're not counting all across the globe either, right? So wherever country you're watching from outside of America, I mean, I'm in Spain. So, just America, we're saying these events have happened in the last 80 years, this multitude of events, yet they've all been kept secret perfectly. And the only thing that's able to have gotten out is information to Stephen Greer and people like him. Right? It just doesn't make any sense. Again, it just sounds like something out of a movie. And, then you might make the argument that, there's a lot of tangential philosophical arguments you can make here, right? For one, let me throw this thought at you. Why would you want to change humanity? No matter what the outcome is, right? Freedom is messy. Free will is messy. We will become what we will become, right? It's a slippery slope when you try to step in and make rules and change things to get what you want, right? It's inevitable. Humanity's outcome would be inevitable. No matter what it is, we would accept it. That's who we are. This is where we go. We tried our best, right? But we're going to send ourselves back 500,000 years. Why this time period when this happened? Of all the time periods, wouldn't you go back to when humanity started, was developing societies and starting this process of war and stop it then? That way they evolved with no war period and we just didn't know it or something. Does that make sense? Like, why now? Right? Is it because of nuclear war? But again, why come at the worst time if you can time travel? This seems like the worst point in time to come. Why wouldn't you come before nuclear weapons were even invented and stop them from developing nuclear weapon? Right? Do you see what I'm saying? This doesn't make any sense. And that's what you have to do with these stories. They sound all inspiring and crazy when you hear them. Oh my God, and you immediately start to try to make connections to other UFO alien stories you've heard so that it can somehow validate it. But just stop for a second. Ask yourself some basic questions about what's, you know what I mean? The surrounding details of this, the implications. Really put yourself in the place of this event happening and then go, well, wait a second. Wait. This doesn't make any sense, right? And last thing I'll say, we'll move on to the next one. Have you ever heard, you ever been sitting around with somebody and they go, hey, if you could go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you say? Right? If you're older, right? I'm 46, right? So that's something that I guess older people only say. I've had that question asked and I've asked it myself, right? And it's sort of a thought experiment, another just sort of philosophical conversation, right? What would you tell your younger self, right? Because you're wiser now, you've been experienced. So what would you go back and tell your younger self so you could have a better life? And you know what? Most people have come to the conclusion, right? When they really think about it, the older they are, they go, I wouldn't change a thing because it's made me who I am today. If you're happy with where you're at in your current life, why would you go back and change anything? It would change the trajectory. Sometimes going through hard things and hard times is what makes you who you are, right? A bad breakup, a lost job, a lost family member, or this or that. It's you sharpen a knife against, a grindstone, right? That's how we become who we are, from experiences, from learning. You can't have the good without the bad, and you can't have the bad without the good, right? Otherwise, one doesn't exist. If good only exists and there is no bad, then good doesn't even exist. Does that make sense? It literally is kind of required. It's like hot and cold, right? They both exist simultaneously, right? And cold is just the absence of heat, right? And you might argue bad is just the absence of good. Whatever. I'm just saying, it's just a bonker story. And this is just kind of stuff that gets thrown out. And then we're supposed to be like, oh my God, this holy shit, Stephen Greer's bringing it. I mean, who told him that story? Some U.S. government official, bonkers, man. And I want to believe this stuff, y'all. I would love to believe that story. Oh, how cool. Human descendants 500,000 years from the future came back to warn us about our endless war and nuclear war. I mean, again, it doesn't make any sense. And this is the wrong time to come to say that. All right, let's go to the next clip, y'all. Let's do this. Let's remove that. All right, oh man. All right. I apologize for this next clip. It's gonna get crazy. All right, let's watch this together. This is a much longer clip. So I might stop it as we go here. But let's do it, y'all.
Actual, would you call it alien technology revealed publicly the first time?
Correct. And we have it. We've been studying it, and it is extraordinary. And what's interesting.
Did you just hear that? Let me reiterate for those of you that may have missed it, because it comes right at the beginning of the clip. Alex Jones is asking Stephen Greer, so you're about to reveal alien technology for the very first time publicly. Stephen Greer saying, yes, we've been studying it. Can you take any guess of what this could be? Let's keep going.
There is some writing around the top of this sphere that is Proto-Sanskrit, which we believe originated from another star system, and it was the root of all Indo-European languages from Sanskrit. But this is a type of Proto-Sanskrit, and the thing is fascinating. You know, the whole press conference with all these new whistleblowers and the bogusphere is.
You heard it. You just heard him say it. The bogusphere, right? Or as it's widely known in the UFO community, I don't know who coined the term, but the bogusphere. That thing looks fake as part of earmuffs, kids. That thing looks fake as fuck. Fake as fuck, right? The bogusphere looks so fake. What are we doing? That's what this is why people laugh at this shit. It's because things like this, like, it doesn't even look good. You know, I'll give the mummies credit, the Nazca mummies. They at least look enticing. Like, oh shit, that looks incredible. The bogosphere looks so fake. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing? Let's keep going, because wait till you hear this.
Only an hour and a half, so we're going to have to move very quickly through it. But the next day, we're going to do an event here for 4 hours, and people can see that by webinar if they can't. It's sold out.
Is this a photo of it?
In languages from Sanskrit,
shit.
But this is a type of Proto-Sanskrit. And the thing is fascinating. You know, the whole press conference with all these new whistleblowers and the bogosphere is only an hour and a half, so we're going to have to move very quickly.
Okay. Now, I can't zoom in on this. But let me maximize. Okay, let's do this. I wish we could see my fucking cursor. I don't know how to do that. Take a look at the etching that's around this middle part. Okay. Look how bad that looks, y'all. Look how bad. Look how bad all of it. Look at the lines on the left side, the circular line. You see that silver circle to the left there. You see that curve. That's kind of I mean, just look at all the detail, right? Again, the answers are always in the details. These people tell you this shit because they expect you not to look into it. Because the moment you really dive in, you're like, wait, what the fuck? This is bullshit. And this image on the middle, right? This image in the middle, the little, circuitry that you see there in the middle. I'm not joking. Okay. I'm not joking when I say this. That's fucking clip art. Let me repeat that. People found that exact same fucking image. I'm not exact same image. You can overlay it. It's clip art from fucking 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Just simple Microsoft clip art. Some bullshit. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, seriously? You couldn't design your own? You know what I mean? To fake it? Like, even faking is getting horrible. Even hoaxing is just like, it's a joke. You know why? You know why it's done this way? Because they know people will eat it up no matter what. We could shove this shit down their throat. You know what I mean? Stephen Greer is the goddamn McDonald's of the UFO world. You know, we're going to shove this shit down your throat and you're going to like it. It's not good for you. Fuck you. It's part of my French. It just like pisses me off because there are just so many. It pains me to see people fall for this. Now, do what you want. If you're in the chat or if you're watching this, not in the chat, and you believe it, you think it's real, I'm not dogging you. I'm not judging you. I get it. Believe what you want. Do your own thing. I get it. Right? I'm saying, me personally, it's bullshit. That's what I think. And on top of that, for me personally, it pains me that people sometimes can't see what's right in front of them. Because you know why? Because there are compelling things out there about the phenomena. Real compelling things. This is not one of them. And why is Greer pushing this so much? Right? He's having the reason he's on Alex Jones promoting this is because he's having a presentation in DC with whistleblowers. He kind of hinted at it, and we'll get back to the video so we can hear more. Where he's going to present this bogusphere, right? 2 members of Congress. You see what I'm saying? Like, and again, ask yourself, why is he pushing this? Where did the bogosphere come from? Jaime Maussan. If you don't think this is about money, you haven't looked hard enough. This is about money. Stephen Greer is being paid a lot of money to push this. So he don't give a fuck if it looks like it was made from fucking Hobby Lobby parts. You know what I mean? He don't care. It's like, dude, I'm getting $100 grand. I don't know how much he got paid. I guarantee you it's in the 6 figures. Guaranteed. I'm just saying. And meanwhile, there are people like, oh, this could be real alien technology. Oh my God, you know. Meanwhile, he's laughing all the way to the bank. Let's keep going.
Through it. But the next day, we're going to do an event here for 4 hours, and people can see that by webinar if they can't. It's sold out.
Is this a photo of it?
Yes, there's the photo of it. There's the proto-Sanskrit around the perimeter of what looked like a circuitry.
I was about to say, yeah.
My team were the ones who took the metal samples, and out of the perimeter and the equator of this, there are some resin material that are in 31 little portals. And we tested that, and that's where we tested it to be 12,560 years old from the time of the last end of the last ice age. And I think
so. You were able to get particles from Earth that are embedded in it and get the date.
No, these were functional parts of it because there were microscopic fiber optics in this resin that are around.
You know, this is what they do with the mummies. Let's think of it this way. Let's say a museum took a real bone, a dinosaur bone, a real bone, right? It's real. And then only one bone, and then made this entire structure out of it, right? They recreated a whole dinosaur with one real bone. So the rest are synthetic, right? But they tell you that's a real, we found an entire skeleton of X dinosaur and we tested it and it's real. But what they don't tell you is, well, we just tested this one bone, right? That's what happens here. Whoever made this bogosphere, probably a team, crackpot team of great fabricators, right? I mean, crackpot team, probably one dude. They've probably put some stuff on it that is old. And then the resin, you see how he's saying the resin? Why not test the metal? You're telling me this thing is from the last ice age? What? It's so easily full. And then Greer's, my team tested it. Right? My team tested it. No one gives a fuck about your team, Greer. What team? You know what I mean? It's just crazy. All right, let's keep going.
On the equator of this bogosphere. It's a very fascinating piece of technology. Now, remember, when it first landed, it weighed about 2 pounds. Now it weighs 22 pounds. So because when it first landed, 2 kilograms, which is about 4.5 pounds. And it is something that when it first landed also was cold to the touch. A farmer nearby grabbed it when it got disabled, it got shorted out near a power line. We have the video of it, and he like grabbed it. It was just a regular guy out in the country in Colombia, South America, and it was cold to the touch, and it was very light. But then over a few weeks, as it became the circuitry died, it gained its mass back. Now this is people.
It gained its mass back. How do you know that's what happened, Greer? You have no idea. If this is true and if this is real, you wouldn't know why it gained weight, right? Its mass back, as if that's the original way it's supposed to be. How would you know what it originally is supposed to look at? Did those 500,000 future humans that flew, luminous beings tell you this? It shorted out near a power line. So this amazing alien technology shorted out near a power line in South America, in Colombia, South America, right? What are we talking about, right? There's so many things wrong with that. There's so many threads here to pull. If you remember, I covered this a lot on Vetted because initially this one video came out of a silver sphere in Colombia, right? Flying around. And was like, oh my God, it was in the jungles. A farmer had caught it, right? It was smooth all the way around. Smooth silver ball. Just remember that. Then another one. Then another one, right? And then all of a sudden they're like, we found it. And it looks like this. What? It was smooth. Now it looks like this. And every time they would show you the video, it'd be you'd see what they call in the industry jump cuts, right? Showing a time lapse of sorts, right? It'd be like, they would never show you the whole raw footage, right? So they would show a guy filming on his iPhone, right? Like it's raw, like Blair Witch style, filming it. It would jump cut around. And then it would like, quote, fall to the ground. But you never see the landing. And then it would cut to them, fucking macheting through some, weeds to get to the thing. Right. But it was always after that. It's not like, again, never showed the raw footage, never explained any of it, how it went from smooth to this, right? To clip art that you can find on Microsoft and horrible designs, right? And just simple, just made up symbols and shit, never explained. It's never explained. Again, it's all about the money, just literally about the money. Let's continue.
People say, how is that possible? Well,
Forgot to say. Yeah, and those silver spheres that were flying around, which is where the bogusphere comes from, they actually, one of the videos, you could see fishing line. You could literally see it was being held by a drone and being flown around. So let me put the mic down for a second. So imagine this is the drone, right? We got the silver sphere. Clearly the drone would be bigger, but right. So it's flying around like this with the string, but you're only filming this frame right here, right? So you only see the ball moving around, and that's why they would jump cut it, because anytime they would turn, it would probably make a weird movement, and they didn't want to include that. So it was only when it was flying in a direct line, because as soon as they would make right, if it's on a string, it's going to spin around, right? Again, you could literally see the string coming down. I mean, people just don't want to, it's like crazy.
Technologies that are electromagnetic field propulsion technologies result in what we call a mass cancellation effect, where the actual weight of something is reduced and it can float around and move as if it has no weight at all, like it's in an anti-gravity system, which it is. Now, the other thing that's interesting, the CAT scans on the interior don't show any moving parts or things that would look as an energy source. There's no radioactivity. There's no oil. There's no jet rockets. There's nothing. So this is truly an electromagnetic anti-gravity field device.
Well, Plato said where the Trojans were, and they thought he was wrong. They later dug up the city there. But he also
Right.
wrote about flying machines that they had. Could this be an earlier human civilization? Because take Sanskrit, I'm not an expert on it, but you go back to all the stuff about the Anunnaki and all that, and I haven't taken DMT, but I talked to doctors about people that have.
Oh, I remember these videos right here. They're pouring water on it to show the temperature change. And look at the lab. Look at the extent that these scientists are taking to perform experiments, right? We got a dollar store plastic cup, no gloves, no scrubs, no nothing, no white lab, right? No protected environment for this alien technology. We're just rubbing our hands on it. Guys, Gay, grab me the dollar store cup. You know what I mean? Let's just pour some water on it. Good Lord.
And I'm sure you've heard of this, but I was talking to a medical doctor just a few weeks ago who said he wanted to check it out, so he did it.
That's how I rub my bowling ball before I get a strike, because the PAT is good at bowling. I mean, what are we doing? She's like, oh, let me show you this thing. This is crazy. Good Lord. That's the lab. I'm not joking. This is the lab you're seeing. And they performed other experiments, and that's the lab. Crazy.
Where you do the laser test, you shoot a laser through this prism, and then you see Sanskrit, but it's different. It's like this, an alien Sanskrit, like you're seeing the Matrix code. Have you heard of this?
Oh yes, and the Earth holds many mysteries, but the fact this was not just an artifact laying in the ground; this was flying around, and now we have excuse me, about a dozen videos of different encounters. So there are a lot of these flying around right now, and
there's a lot of these flying around, guys. You know what I mean? We just got alien spheres flying around all over Colombia. You know what I mean? And as soon as they run into a power line, they're gone. They fall to the ground so the humans can pick them up. Again, just think that out for 2 seconds. Not going to do it for you. Think that out for 2 seconds. How fucking stupid does that sound? Let's keep going.
But my reason
I was about to say, this looks kind of like the Tic Tacs and things we see everywhere.
Well, the Tic Tacs are actually Lockheed Skunk Works. Now, that's the other thing. We have a Green Beret who's coming, who was deployed in a covert operation in the Middle East. And on the tarmac was the Tic Tac ready to be deployed. And so this is where
Here we go. This is one of the videos I'm talking about. I covered this. I remember covering this several times, actually. Several different videos. I just can't believe it's still around, to be honest. I just can't believe it's still around.
David Fravor first came forward, who chased the Tic Tac, and it got into the news. I let him know. He couldn't believe it. I said, I'm sorry to tell you, that is not alien.
See the jump cuts? See how it's jumping around?
That is one of ours, but it's a super secret engineer.
It's not that Alex Jones edited that. That's how they present the videos.
Out of the Lockheed Skunk Works. Now, Raytheon, Lockheed Skunk Works, Northrop Grumman, they all have these systems.
So right there, you can see the sphere. I'm telling you, above that is a drone flying that thing. Unfortunately. But of course, now all of a sudden, Steve Greer is taking a little sidetrack, and now he's talking about Lockheed Skunk Works and the Tic Tac. You know what I mean? It's, Stephen Greer's, he has an answer for everything. Have you noticed that? Nothing anyone can bring up, he doesn't have an answer for. An explanation, a source, something. He's never stumped. I don't know if I've ever heard Stephen Greer go, I don't know about that. Right? Now, to be fair to Stephen Greer about the Tic Tac, he's not the only one that has said it's Lockheed Skunk Works. Ross Coulthard has also said that. But regardless, he's just ready to switch to anything that anyone brings up. He's got an answer,
And this has been the big shock for Senate Intelligence and House Oversight and White House people, is that right under our noses, funded by we the people, as well as some criminal revenue sources, have been these developments.
Sure.
And, you know, nobody knew it. I mean, this is,
Well,
I've been saying this for 30
what are the
years.
big flying Vs? We know that's older technology, and they even show space
Yep.
planes that look like it. But I've talked to
Right.
military that were in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they multiple people, like special forces, and they said we'd be in the middle of a big engagement, and we'd have air support, and then a few times they would look way up and see one of these things, and then just all of a sudden, Trump talks about discombobulator, all of a sudden the group they were fighting would just run. Like, so I guess, yeah.
Right. So we have them. And this is the big problem also. When the technology that humans have.
There it is, crashing the sphere. This is one of the ones where it crashes down. I don't know why they're having this other conversation over this. Why isn't Stephen Greer explaining? Alex Jones, they're literally overlaying video of supposed alien technology, and they're not even talking about it. Explaining this footage, right? Now, to be fair to Greer, he probably doesn't know that they're playing that, but Alex Jones does, right? Like, what are we doing? Stay on track here, guys.
From 80 years of reverse engineering and some of the most brilliant scientists I've ever met working those programs. My uncle, for his whole career, was Northrop Grumman. And what you begin to realize is that most people are not going to be able to distinguish in a false flag operation whether it's extraterrestrial or human, because our technology is that good. But this is dangerous because you have senior military people. I tell people what's interesting.
Oh, fuck. Hang on. Okay, I admit this one is interesting, but this has nothing to do with the Columbia ones. This is a video I'd be like, let's pick that apart. Let's find out what's going on there. That is more compelling. But they try to bring it into their case as if it's related, and it's not.
Whether it's extraterrestrial or human, because our technology is that good. But this is dangerous because you have senior military people. I tell people, look back years ago, I briefed the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, General Hughes, back in 1999. He had no knowledge of these systems, even though I had whistleblowers from DIA on my team.
So they've
see, this is the guy going in to get the bogusphere, right? To find it.
heavily compartmentalized.
Heavily compartmentalized, and to the
this is the farmer. Again, Stephen Greer and Alex are talking about something totally different. Like, stay on track, man.
Point that if they don't trust the president or a general, unless you're willing to be part of a criminal,
they're zooming in on it. Looks pretty smooth to me.
Transnational organization, a transnational criminal organization, they're not going to tell you anything. And I don't care who you are, the president, the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, whatever. And this is unconstitutional and treasonous. So one of the things we have pointed out is that until this has gotten under control, we've asked the president to be quietly to get these programs stood down. And I think that's happening. And then bring out the technologies, at least the energy ones, so we can get off oil and transition to a new economy and a new civilization over the next 20 years.
You're about to.
Boy, that last guy sort of looked like he was on a fishing boat. Just saying. Absolute bonkers, y'all. Absolute bonkers. All right, let's go to some super chats here. Yo, Patrick, keep up the great work. Stay vetting, bro. Psyched to see your documentary and excited to see what you produce in the future. Thank you so much, Larry. Yes, we've already submitted, pre-submitted the film to a distribution company, and they've accepted it. And we're in the last stages of color grading and upscaling images and that sort of thing. The last thing, and we added a couple associate producers. So Ron James and Gino Gentile from the Y-Files are now officially associate producers on the documentary, because they did help, me to make that happen. So the documentary is going to be coming out worldwide, I guess is the right way to say it. Probably July. It takes like 2 months for the distribution to be finalized. But we are going to release it on our website beforehand. You'll be able to access it that way. But that won't be till, I guess it's already May. That'll probably be a couple weeks away, actually. And it'll actually have extras on it. So the we're going to release on the website for, I guess, about 6 weeks, right? And then it'll be available on Amazon and Apple and all of that, and you'll be able to get it. But the one we release on our website, you'll be able to buy it, and has a bunch of extra footage at the end of the film that we're not going to include on the one that's going on Amazon and all of that. But yeah, it's coming, man. I'm super excited. It looks amazing, right? I can't wait for people to see it. Honestly, I am stoked. Disclosure website, Bad Aliens. Is that an idea, I guess? Yeah, I get down with that. We got aliens.gov coming, right? And Trump, I included a clip of that in my video yesterday about David Grush. Trump saying, we got some interesting things coming. Honestly, I did not feel very, I didn't feel very hopeful of how Trump described it. Honestly, if he would have described it differently, you know what I mean? And it just seems he's just not interested in this. Trump is just not interested. He's heard a lot of things. He's seen a lot of things. He's just, and it still doesn't interest him. He doesn't, that's not good. Larry, again, I love the cursing on stream. Please never stop being your true self. Vids are different. I get it. But in live streams, I love it and applaud it. Absolutely, Larry. Yeah, I kind of went off there, didn't I? Hey, we're all adults here. Listen, I was in the service industry for a long time and worked in kitchens, restaurants, my own food truck. We got mouths on us. Curse like sailors. I don't know if I can say that, Peb. I apologize, Peb. Timu sells sphere similar to this, brah. For fuck's sake, that's hilarious. Yes, I agree. The sphere thing has kind of been around. You had the Bet sphere, which was just a silver smooth ball that was on the ground, didn't fly around. Basically, the hoaxes evolve. Like, what can we do? Let's get a sphere flying around. We'll attach it to a drone. People won't even know. They won't question it, right? Then we'll etch some stuff on it and, get that clip art of the digital thing and put it on. We'll make it we'll just make shit up. We'll literally just make shit up. People will eat it up. Crazy. Joseph, every once in a while, you have to say, I don't know. How can you be so sure? Even if you met one friendly civilization, that does not mean they all are. Agreed, Joseph. Exactly. So if we were to take him at his word, it still doesn't make sense, right? Even if you were to believe him and it was true, you know what I mean? It still doesn't make sense. So that's a great point. That's the problem. I don't trust anyone in this community who claims to have all the answers, claims to know what's going on. Even just about one thing, let alone someone like Greer who claims to know everything. Right? This motherfucker's the genie in a bottle. He's got all the answers, to everything. Everyone talks to him. He knows the real stuff. Nobody knows what they're talking about except him. Crazy. Yes, I don't know. In fact, as you get older, you realize, I don't know shit. The only thing you could be certain of knowing is you don't know anything. Right? Not Greer. This guy's got it all figured out. Nanu, that's all, Mr. Nightman. I love that. Shout out to Mork and Mindy. I bet you miss the Hurtado. Interesting. Oh, the barbecue, Hurtado. I just miss Texas barbecue in general. Yes, absolutely, I do. There's definitely some food I miss um, from back home. Tacos. That's number one. One, I'm Mexican, so I miss tacos, man. I miss my mom's beans and rice. Ah, shit, that's the fucking greatest thing I ever had. Chilaquiles that she makes. Oh, good lord. Yeah, I still love my mom's cooking. Nothing's as good as your mom's cooking, no matter how old you get, right? It's just like tiene todo el sabor. Um, all right, let's go to some chat here, guys. Yeah, let's feel free to throw in some questions, comments, and we'll just kind of hang out here for the end of it. That I kind of got it all out there, on those two videos from Greer. And if you want to see the full thing, again, he was on the Alex Jones show. They did talk about other things, so if you're interested, go check it out. Stephen Greer on Alex Jones. Fogler says, I'm eating tacos right now. You're blowing my mind. Bro, so jealous. Hope Spielberg's Disclosure Day is good. Me too. I've been seeing a lot of things about it because it's ramping up, right? The film is released like second week of June. I always get the date wrong. I want to say it's June 12th of this year. So like 6 weeks out. Personally, I don't want to see anymore. I want to enjoy the movie. I don't want to figure it all out before I go in and then see if I'm right. Like, I don't want to figure it. I just want to enjoy the movie. I love Spielberg, and he's making a UFO movie. He's the best at it. I want to be like surprised by the movie. So I've actively been avoiding anything else about the film, to be honest with you. People are posting pictures and teasers and just press is coming out and marketing about it. But I've actively been avoiding it, to be honest. But yes, I think it's going to be great. It's Spielberg, man. He makes nothing but great movies. Andre, what's up, Andre? Shout out to Andre, man. Great member of our Discord as well, y'all. If you want to join our Discord, there's a link down in the description. I do these open mics, a couple times a week, and we just have these great conversations. You can jump on a mic and talk with me. We just hang out and talk like if we were sitting around a campfire. Everyone's talking, getting their opinions, thoughts out. It's amazing. Really great people and all kinds of beliefs. That's my favorite part. Some people call them bullshit. Some people saying, I believe it or this or that. Like, I love it. So balanced. I don't know a more balanced community than Vetted, man. And I love that. Most of us here are skeptical believers. Yeah, exactly. But what if this alien shit is factual? Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Oh, I think alien shit is factual. Right? We are not alone in the universe, in my opinion. I don't even question. I don't even ask that question anymore. Me personally, I'm past that. We are not alone. The question is, are we alone on this planet? Or have we been? Right? In the past, or in the future, or now, in the present. Do we have craft, bodies, this, that? That's the bigger question. And it's important because there's so much bullshit out there. I think it's important to cut through the BS. That's what I created Vetted for, right? To help eliminate some of the bullshit so then you can then concentrate on the compelling stuff. I don't really bring up a lot of the compelling stuff because that's not what my show is for. My show is to help you get better information really about anything that comes up, but you can at least make up your own mind a little bit better about certain things. I may point out some red flags that I see about certain things, and you can either agree or not agree, and it is what it is. But I don't know who doesn't agree that there's a lot of bullshit too. The question is, the debate is over what's the bullshit and what's not. But just like I fully believe that we're not alone in the universe, I fully believe there's a lot of bullshit stories out there. Right. And I, for one, really want disclosure to happen. I know people think I don't want disclosure. I get that comment a lot, like that I'm working against disclosure. No, if anything, I want disclosure so bad. I'm trying to push the nonsense out of the way to get to real disclosure. I'm not just going to accept shit just because. That to me is like, you really don't want it then. If you're willing to just take the bullshit, right? You can ignore the real shit. How are we going to get to the real shit then? I want the real truth. I don't want some bullshit. That's, I really want, if we have craft and if we have bodies and if there's an alien presence on Earth, or there was one and we have evidence of that, I want to know. I really want to know. I don't just pretend that I want to know. And in order to get there, yeah, we've got to be critical. It would be a landmark point in humanity. So it deserves landmark investigations, right? We should be asking the toughest questions about it if it's so life-changing, right? That's the thing. If it's so life-changing to humanity, this revelation that would change reality, shouldn't we be the most critical we've ever been about anything to make sure, right? That's how I feel anyway. Andre, great comment, man. I always appreciate what you bring up, dude. All right, I missed some comments. I apologize. And look, it's hard to see through some of the crap. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit, in my opinion, like the bogusphere, right? Kind of low. To me, that's just like, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm not wasting my time with this. And then there's other things that just slowly escalate up, right? Where it goes, I see, you know what I mean? I don't see as many red flags, but there are some, right? It kind of, we want to get to the top of the cream that rises to the top, where you go, this is compelling. Multiple witnesses, multiple this, multiple that, this is interesting, but there's a lot of low hanging fruit. We could just, what are we doing? Let's not even focus on this. And I hate that Greer is going to present this to Congress. It's just a joke. Eric Burleson flew down to Mexico to see that. And the mummies. I wonder who paid for that. I really hope that wasn't taxpayer dollar that Burleson went on. Right? That's what we're paying for, Burleson? To go check out fucking bullshit? Or did Jaime Maussan pay for his ticket to go down? I'm just saying, right? That was like the first trip Burleson ever took. That's the most compelling thing you want to go check out, dude? Is that? I was very disappointed to see that, to be honest with you. And if they're paying, money goes a long way, y'all. Money goes a long way. Sucks to say. Legend. What's up, man? Member for 17 months. Wow. Thank you so much. You and Andre both, man. Patrick, love your live chat shows. LOL. What's your top 3 movies coming out this summer? Mine's Spider-Man, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter. Those are good choices. Man. I can't say that I want to see all those movies too. I guess if I had to decide, I would say The Odyssey, number 1. That's the number 1 movie I want to see. I want to see Disclosure Day. And I guess Spider-Man would be a good one. I don't know. That's a good choice. I don't really pay attention to a lot of movies that are coming out, but I know The Odyssey. I want to see that so bad. And Disclosure Day. I'm truly looking forward to that this summer. I truly am. And we're not far off to that coming out. People are asking you, Legend, why you didn't put Disclosure Day in your top 3, Legend? Come on now. Vetta, do you feel this topic has become more of an entertainment than a real discussion? Um, that's a good question. That's a nuanced answer because let me answer this right. It's again, this is just my opinion, and you're asking it, right? I think it's always been entertainment. You can have entertainment about real things, right? I consider Vetted to be an entertainment show. This is for entertainment purposes only, right? And the reason I say that is because it's almost like a legal protection. You know what I mean? And one, I'm not trained to investigate anything. Most of us podcasters and UFO research, like, we're not trained in any way. We don't know what we're doing. I'm just using my common sense, my gut. Just like you guys. I'm one of y'all. I just happen to have a YouTube channel. I'm no more important. My opinion is no more valid. My views are hold no more weight than yours. I bet most of y'all would have better takes on things than me, to be honest with you. I'm just the idiot that decided to turn on the camera and grab a mic and start talking about it. But the truth is, I think both things happen in the sense that you can have a real discussion and it be entertaining, right? So that for me is never the issue. The issue is deception. Are you actively deceiving me? One thing is you believe what you're saying, right? As a person, as a witness that comes out, or an experiencer, or a UFO researcher, right? A person comes out and says something they believe to be true. What I have a problem with is the person that comes out, knows what they're saying is not true, but sells it to you as if it were. I don't like that. That's not getting us anywhere. And that happens, right? There are definitely so many people to have real discussions with about their real experience. I bet a lot of you in the chat and a lot of you watching have had real experiences, right? You're not trying to deceive anybody, right? You're not creating hoaxes in your basement and doing some bullshit to fake people and screw with people or any of that stuff. You're either talking about something you saw that you can't explain it, or you've seen multiple times, or you've had maybe even a more face-to-face personal experience that you can't explain. I get it, right? That's real. But then there's people like Greer who I feel actively deceive. They know it's not true, yet they push it on you anyway. We don't need that. I'm just not down for that. Great question, Scooter. So that made me think about a lot. My wife always gets mad at me. I can't ever just answer a question simply. I always have to explain it down and nuance it. And I can't just say an answer sometimes. It's just how I am. I just don't feel that there's always an easy answer. I like to give context and nuance. This is a good question. Marshall. Patrick, would you consider interviewing Greer and asking the real questions? 100%. But let me tell you something. I've tried to interview Greer on a couple different occasions. Tried to interview Greer for Vetted. Never heard back. We tried to interview Greer for our documentary because we were doing psionics, right? And he does CE5, so we wanted to talk to him. Never heard back. I've heard from other people that he requires money, a lot of money, talking $5, $10, $15, $20,000 to either appear in your documentary or come on your podcast. Unless he thinks it's a big enough platform that it'll help him, he won't require the money. But if you're just Joe Blow, you're going to have to pay Stephen Greer. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, right? I'm not here to judge that. I'm just saying I would be one of those shows, and there's no way in hell I'm paying Stephen Greer $5, $10, $15,000 to talk to him. I don't care enough. But if I had an opportunity and could ask him, yeah, I would definitely love to talk to him. And you know what's interesting about Greer is I don't mind watching him. He can be entertaining. He kind of frustrates me. He says the craziest shit, but he's kind of entertaining. All right, let's see here. Oh, it's hard to read all of these, y'all. If you have a question, try to put it in all caps. That'll help me separate it from the rest of the comments. This one, I figured podcasters pay. It makes sense. That, you know, to be fair, most do not. That's actually not a thing. Certain people, there is a certain part of podcasting where people pay for interviews. But that's the minority. The majority, you're not paying nobody to come on your show. Ask Joe Rogan how many people he's paid to come on his show. 0. Most of the big podcasts, most of the podcast, you don't pay anybody ever. Now, what you do pay is their travel, right? You fly them in, you put them in a nice hotel, you take them for dinner, you might give them a little stipend for the day, right? A little something, little, here's, you know, you need to buy something at 7-Eleven or some shit. You know, here's $100 just in case, you know, you need something. You know, maybe a limo or a fancy car to pick them up and drive them around, you know, drive them to the airport and back and that sort. That is what happens. Right. And then again, there is this minority that will, on top of that, would give you money to do interviews. Like someone like, I don't know if y'all have heard of a podcaster interviewer called DJ Vlad. I think that's what his name is. He pays people to go on a show to do interviews, you know, 15, 20 grand, you know, depending on how many views you get, he'll bring you on regularly and pay you. Right. So there is a market for that. But your typical podcast does not pay. Are you looking forward to Sleeping Dogs documentary? Yes. Yes, I am. That comes out. Oh, when does that come out? May. I got this wrong in my video that I made. May 12th. I want to say May 12th that comes out. So just a couple weeks. Yeah. I like UFO documentaries. I'm in. I especially after I made one, I know how hard it is to make. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks good. I enjoyed the Bob Lazar documentary, and I don't believe Bob Lazar at all. Even after the documentary, I actually believed him less. Not that I believed him before it started, but it was entertaining. I can still be entertained by some of this stuff. I thought the work that Luigi did was amazing, and I think the same thing for this with Jeremy Corbell's. He didn't make it, another guy did, and you know, kind of his artistic impression of what Jeremy does, and that's fascinating. Let's see what that's about. Can you walk me through how you research stuff? Bro, I don't have time for all that on this stream. That's quite a tough question. All I'll say is I use basic research techniques like anybody, right? The only thing I might have over most people watching is time. I have more time because this is my job. So I just have more time to read, listen, watch, reach out to people, right? That sort of thing. And most people just won't have that kind of time. But yeah, just the same basic stuff. It's not like I have some secret thing. What I don't do a lot of that some people do is use AI a lot. I do use AI. I'm not saying I don't, but I'm old. So I didn't grow up with researching like AI, right? With AI. I grew up old school where you had to actually go to libraries to get books and pull them out, you know. Couldn't get information off the computer. That didn't come till I was a senior in high school or something. And even then it was dial-up basic bullshit. So I'm used to old school research. You know, I Google, I look, you know, articles, that sort of thing. Nothing special. Nothing special, and anybody can do it. Most of the information is right at the top. It's just most people just don't care or want to look. And that's what I try to do with Vetted, right? Is just kind of add some of those context. Now there are some people that do research is all about time. So there are people that spend more time on something than me, right? I have an output of videos that only allows certain research. Now, some videos I take longer on, right? A story may come out, but then you won't see my video about it for 3-4 days later. Well, that's because I'm taking my time with the story, right? And waiting to see and, getting more information. But there's no secret sauce. I'm not special in any way. And again, probably a lot of you have better skills and are better, equipped than myself. The Psionic film is coming out. Oh, okay. I already talked about this, Marcus, but it's coming out midsummer. I would say July. Worldwide, it'll be available. Amazon, Apple, all of that. And it'll be available on our website probably in a couple weeks. You'll be able to get it there first, and it will be an extended version of the film. Well, it'll be the film plus extra scenes, like a bunch actually of interviews and stuff that's just not in the film. There's a lot that did not make the film. I recorded a lot of stuff so we could take the best and make a film out of it, but there's a lot that just didn't make the final cut. Okay, this is good. Fog log. I never thought I'd find myself saying that on this stream. Anyone tuning in is going to be like, "Whoa, what's Patrick talking about? Fog log." Was there a big earthquake in Nevada, Area 51? Yeah, I heard about this. I don't know any details other than there was multiple earthquakes near Area 51, and people are thinking they're testing something. That's literally all the information I have. And that's literally all the information that is out there. Of course, people are going to say they're testing UFO technology. This, I don't know. That's up to you. But that is confirmed to have happened. Jess, what's up, Jess? Jess is a mod here on Vetted. Amazing person, guys. Show her some love. Are you excited about the MK Ultra hearings announced recently? Yes, I am. If you don't know, Representative, who was it that tweeted that out? Was that Luna? I think it was Luna. I don't know who tweeted it out. I can't remember. But the secret task force thing, remember that? They were looking into JFK and UFOs and all that, and they haven't done anything for an extremely long time. They are doing a hearing on MK Ultra coming up in May, actually. So very soon. And yeah, I'm interested in it because MK Ultra is real, really happened, right? There are some absolutely bonkers confirmed stories from MK Ultra. I mean, it's insane what our government did, the American government did to American citizens, its own people. Service members, people that were serving, CIA, other stuff. It's crazy. And then there's a lot of conspiracies attached to it, and people try to attach themselves to it. Personally, I was MK Ultra. No, you weren't. That's always going to happen. But yes, I'm very interested. What are they going to talk about? There was these famous church hearings that happened in the 70s that uncovered a lot of this MK Ultra stuff. But a lot of the files, coincidentally, destroyed. So yeah, I don't know. They're going to bring new stuff out. Are they just going to talk about? I don't know. Yeah, I'm super interested in it because that's not something I have to decide if it's real or not. MK Ultra really happened, and or is happening. Great question, Jess. What's your theory or theories of the so-called bad truths about the phenomena that could be harmful? Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, I just to simplify it, right? For me, it's all about disruption. So a truth so bad it would disrupt your daily life. Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, if you found out that they're actively abducting humans across the globe, I think that would cause panic, terror, right? If you knew, like, shit, if I step outside, like, I got to be worried, not even step outside, just in your home, they could abduct, like, you know what I mean? If you knew that was real, that would be terrifying. So, yeah, I think there are some truths, where the zoo hypothesis, our place, on the food chain, right? Finding out what our place on the food chain actually is would be a hard truth. We're part of some cosmic war potentially that's happening. We were used. Our origin. We find out the origin of humans is different than what we thought. Yeah, I think these reality shifting truths could be deemed bad truths, right? Demons, angel, right? Like they're coming here to attack us or hurt us in some way. Obviously, would be hard to deal with, and cause disruption. And again, it's all about disruption for me. If it's going to disrupt society and your daily life, that's where people are going to stop and do something about it. If it's a truth that you hear and you can just keep working and seeing your friends on the weekend and doing your thing, it's not going to be as hard a truth, right, to swallow. But if it's disruptive, you're damn right. There'll be some issues. That's a great question, and that's actually a really long conversation to have, right? I wish I could dive into that more. But great question, man. Bob Lazar claims a blue bus drove him to Papoose Lake, and I found satellite images of a blue bus between S4 and Area 51. Okay. Have you always been a Bob Lazar skeptic, or was there a moment when you decided you didn't trust him? That's a great question. No, I wasn't always a skeptic of Bob Lazar. I can't really recall if I may have heard of Bob Lazar earlier in my life because I was kind of into UFOs in the sense that I loved Fire in the Sky when I was a teenager, and X-Files was like my favorite show, and I always wondered about aliens and shit, but not in the way a lot of people did. I didn't read a bunch of books, and I don't think I ever knew who Bob Lazar was. But my earliest memory of Bob Lazar is just Joe Rogan. When Jeremy Corbell and Bob went on Joe Rogan, I think that's the first time I really heard of him. I could be wrong. There could be a memory buried deep where I heard something in the 90s or something, but like I was intrigued by that interview initially. I was like, wow, what's this guy talking? What the fuck? This is crazy. But the more I found out about him and dug in, I thought, well, why doesn't anybody address these red flags? And see, that's what hurts Bob's story for a lot of people that are skeptical of him. The fact that he doesn't address the red flags. Just address them. Explain them away. Right? Just because XYZ happened doesn't mean your story about aliens isn't true. What's weird is you don't want to talk about it. That's what's weird. So that's what I find interesting. And there's a lot of people who cover Bob Lazar and never talk about the red flags. I just find that odd. Put all the information out, right? Discuss it, balanced, and then people make up their better mind. But when you leave things out purposefully, that's what makes me question it. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and again, I'm nobody, right? He could be right. I don't think he is. I just think there's so many red flags and contradictions. At this point, Bob would have to absolutely prove his story, and that needs to come from him. He's going to have to show evidence of the fantastical stuff. I don't even care if it's proven he worked at S4. Who gives a fuck? That doesn't prove UFOs. That doesn't prove aliens. It just doesn't. Right? I need to see evidence of that. At this point, there's so many red flags for me. That's what I would need to see. But Bob has stated many times he doesn't want you to believe him. And he doesn't care if you believe him. And in fact, he said he prefers if you don't believe him. So I'll grant Bob's wish. I just don't believe him. My concern is every era sees UAP that matches their technology. What are your thoughts on that? Great point, Tamalama. Great point. Yep. Yeah, and look, could there be a extraordinary explanation for that? Yes. Right? In the sense that, well, the reason the phenomena matches the technology of the time is because the technology is showing you what you know what's available then and what's around. Like it's like from the aliens. They're the ones doing that, right? They don't really have a form. The craft actually don't have a form. You see what you want to see, what your brain will make you see, right? I've heard that theory. Sure. Okay. But yeah, the flip side is kind of what you're implying, right? Like how odd that, this happens in the zeitgeist. The next thing you know, everyone's seeing that thing. I agree. But I think both possibilities, right? But it is a good question to ask. And I agree. Have you ever done a dive into the Wilhelm Reich work? Oh, God. On etheric organic UFOs that led him to Orgon Energy? I don't even know what that is. Cosmic Pulse of Life is a crazy book. It's def woo woo, but it's UFOs. Okay. I mean, you said a couple words. I just never even heard of that. Orgon Energy. Never heard of that. I don't know what that is. Etheric organic UFOs. Like, what do they sell them at Whole Foods? Yeah. All right. I'll look into that. That's interesting. I will. Let's see. We sound like we're the same age, so you ain't old. Thank you. I'm 46. Yeah, I'm not old. I'm young. Trust me, when I'm 56, I'm gonna be like, dude, 46 was young, bro. Thoughts on the hidden doors from S4? I don't know. I don't think it's definitive. But with that said, definitely compelling. They made a case, right? Luigi and his team made a case, and it just needs to be verified. So I'm cool with that. It's kind of the jury's out, right? So I'll just say, well, I don't know. Well, we'll wait and see. I think that's fair. People just jumping to that proves the story. Aliens are real. UFOs. He worked in a secret black project. Element 115. What the fuck? This is the thing. If it takes one little domino to push you into belief of a story, why doesn't the inverse happen? One little domino push you away from the story, right? One little red flag makes you go, I don't believe it. So that doesn't happen because we're all a victim of our own confirmation bias. And if you really want to believe Bob, or you already believe him, any little thing will just, you know what I mean, get blown up into a bigger thing. And we're all victims of that. I'm not exempt from that sandbox of belief. So I try to balance myself and just say, with something like this, like the doors at S4 that were found with the photos and everything, I don't know. I'll wait and see. I'm not dismissing it, but I'm not accepting it either. It's not confirmed, in my opinion. But it is interesting, nonetheless. But I want to know about the UFOs. So, but I get it. One little thing at a time. The Fire in the Sky hoax allegations got zero traction. I was surprised by that. Not on this show. They didn't. I covered it. I made spent a lot of time on a video about it. You should look it up. It's on the channel. I personally did not ignore that. Oh man, who was in the Psionics film? A lot of people. A lot of people you've never heard of. They're not big names, but they're just not big names. I did it all. I kind of hung out with some names you're familiar with for sure, but then I hung out with people you just never heard of, and I wanted that. Your average everyday person to some people that are doing some things with it, right? So it was kind of a mix. It's not a talking heads documentary. I didn't make the typical UFO documentary where you just do these interviews and get the wide shot and the close up, and then it's just a mix of that. The whole documentary is just all these interviews lined up with some graphics in between. I didn't do that shit. I actually traveled across the country, right, with a camera, meeting with people, hanging out with them, and filmed that experience. It's a true documentary in the sense that I documented a journey, right? I think it's going to be very unique for a lot of people. I don't know if people are ready for it. There are documentaries like that, but not about UFOs. So I'm interested for people to see it. I wanted to make something different. I didn't want to make your typical talking heads UFO video. Sorry, Trevor James Constable took his work and supposedly discovered the etheric UFO. Okay. Very cool. No, I'll look it up. I honestly, I never heard of that. Never heard of that. How do you pronounce David Grush's name? Is it Grush like Lou says it, or do you say it right? Jason. What's up, Jason? It is Grush, not Grush. Why does Lou Elizondo say Grush and not Grush? I could theorize all day long of why that is. But I don't know, But it's Grush. It's not Grush. New evidence. I found aliens in the Cumbergas. Oh, the Turkey video, right? Is that what you're talking about? I think that was kind of the whole point of that video being so special, is that aliens were allegedly in it. So I don't know. That's not really new evidence. And I found a blue school bus between S4 and Air 51. Talk about it. It should be seen. We just talked about it. What am I supposed to do? Gem Girl, and in fact, I talked about it twice, so I just mentioned it again. Hi, Patrick. I'm going to Alien Highway and Area 51 in a week. Oh, sweet, Gem Girl. I've been out there. It's a great trip. I've been out to the back gate of Area 51. Rachel, you're going to see the whole thing, right? It's like a 3-hour trip outside of Vegas. Take lots of water just in case car breaks down, that sort of thing. Because it's going to be hot. It's May. You're in the desert. You're literally out in the middle of nowhere, but you're going to have such a good time. There's so many stops along the way before you get to Area 51. There's a great, what's it called? Shop, like a souvenir shop, like a alien souvenir shop. Really cool, iconic, out literally in the middle of nowhere with this really tall metal alien. It's probably like 60, 70 feet tall, if not taller. It's amazing. Welded, like it's sick. In this cool store, it's a place to stop and use the bathroom and get a drink as well or something, because there's no convenience stores or gas stations out there, and just get a shirt or something, right? It's really cool. So yeah, you're gonna have a great time. I'm really excited for you. Does Jeremy Corbell get killed in his new documentary, Sleeping Dogs? What kind of stupid question is that? He's promoting the film. Let's use our brains here. Hey, Pat, what's one thing you learned about the psionics phenomena that really surprised you? All right, I got a good answer for you. I was told by a lot of people while filming the documentary and pre-production work and just interviews I've done that the idea is essentially there's our protocols, right, to summon UFOs. There are protocols. Now, there's a lot of different protocols. Different people say to do it different ways, right? But what I learned, and Gino from the Y-Files, who filmed with me, part of it, Gino and I were out for like 2 weeks on the road. He went with me to Sedona and Utah. Those were my two biggest, two big trips that I took in the film, and he was there with me the whole time. So we got to experience it together. And we talked about this after I remember in Utah, we talked about this after we had done Arizona. We get to Utah, and what I learned is you don't need any protocols. That's kind of in our estimation. And I don't want to speak for Gino, but we did talk about it together. You didn't need protocols. You could just look up and see things moving around in the sky without having to do anything. So I don't know how helpful the protocols are, at all. Or, it could be the difference between looking at a highway, like if you're on an overpass and looking down at a highway and seeing all the cars moving versus I'm going to get in a car and drive one. Right. So there could be something there to that. But great question. And all will be revealed this summer in the Psionics documentary. Just kidding. In your documentary, do you discuss the so-called drugs the psionics were given to make their connection stronger? I'm assuming you're referring to the psionic assets from like Skywatcher. I mean, if we talked about it, it's in passing and it's short, but there's no big discussion or big scene from the movie that's about that. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's no big discussion or anything about it. Was it talked about? Yes, and probably stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor, and not for any reason that we can't discuss that. No, not at all. It just, and I think no one really pressured me to do anything like that for their protocols. In fact, everyone I spoke with and hung out with, none of their protocols involved drugs, if you will. That's more of a Skywatcher thing and other things that people were doing. You know what I mean? There were definitely a couple nights where we smoked some weed and did it, but not for any reason that like, oh, this will help. It was just like, yeah, it was smoking weed, and we're doing it because there was so, I filmed for 4 months. But no, it's not a big part of it. And I agree. I've covered it a lot on the channel. I'm curious about it. And there's more to it. Cookie Peach, what's up? How you doing? All right, y'all. I'm gonna go 5 more minutes, and then I'm out. Josh Crow, member for 19 months. Wow, all these members for so long, man. Love all the support. Seriously, I mean that. Thank you, Josh. The truth is coming for us all. Ignorance is bliss. Enjoy it while it lasts. Many will wish they could go back to before we all found out. Stay safe. Possibly. Just being real. You don't know that. But that is your opinion, and I respect your opinion. But yes, nobody knows. I think they know, but they don't. That's what I've learned. Okay, guys, let me do one or two more here. And then oh, good Lord. I'm way behind. Well, let's just do one more here. Let's find one good one. See some funny comments. All right, let's do this here. Last question, y'all. Do you have any knowledge on shadow figures? Nathaniel Gillis has really helped me with this. What's your input, if any? I mean, knowledge in the sense that I've heard about all this stuff and I've heard people talk about it and make claims and share their experiences of this happening. And honestly, some quite credible people that I would deem credible myself personally. I mean, that's a personal decision for everyone to make, but yeah, I've people I think are credible that I trust. I've heard them talk about stuff like this. I'm like, wow. I've heard some frightening stories from people. So I don't know. I don't know. I've also heard people just make up some shit about it, right? I've heard some people act like and talk like they know what's going on with these shadow figures and what's happening in this, and it's part of it. I don't buy that shit. No offense. Again, I don't trust anyone that tries to tell me they know what's going on. You don't know shit. You know how I know? Because you don't know. I don't know. You don't know. You don't have any more information than I do. But people try to claim that they do. I wish people would word it like this. Based on my research and my investigations, I think this is happening. Right? That's how I wish people would word it. Instead, they word it like, this is it. This is what's happening. This is the truth. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, calm down. You're only trying, it's projection. You're only trying to convince yourself. It would be a lot more helpful and move the conversation forward a lot more if people weren't so set in their beliefs, that they were actually open-minded. Because people will say, be open-minded, right? That's why the stigma exists. Hey, man, why aren't you open-minded about aliens? Well, hang on a second. You're also not open-minded that it could not be aliens, right? If you say you had an experience you can't explain and you don't know what it is, then you should be open to it being anything. You may not like the answer, but that's what open-minded means, right? So, and I think it's a case-by-case basis, right? I'm not saying as a whole, but yeah, anyway, could go off on all that. Look, this was a great chat. I had a great time. I really appreciate everyone showing up and hanging out. I'm so glad I did this live stream. I love doing these. I really do. I've had so much fun in the last few live streams. If you haven't, check out the last live stream I did. Did an interview with Chris Ramsey. He jumped in on the last live stream that I did, and I believe Jeremy Corbell was in the chat the entire time as well, hanging out with us. It was a lot of fun. So, but this one was great. So I really appreciate everyone that tunes in, watches the show, supports the show. It means a lot. You guys are the reason I work so hard. So I really appreciate it. And just remember, I respect everyone's opinions. I want to hear everyone's opinions. It's all about respect and just being not disruptive, right? We can all look at this the way we want, right? And we can all come together with different beliefs, even if we're skeptical or believers, right? I think us all coming together and trying to figure out what's going on is the best foot forward. And that's hopefully the type of community I provide at Vetted. Don't be aggressive or disruptive with your opinion. It just doesn't work, right? So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate the support. I'll see you guys on the next one. And as always, remember, Vettas, Every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.